So I currently own 2 investment properties and I'm under contract on my 3rd. I got my first one a couple of years ago up in Ames. I still have that obviously. And then my current one, so I do what's called house hacking. So essentially, and Jerry, you can kind of help me out with this too. So it's when I purchase a property with owner-occupied financing rather than investment financing. I actually live in the property that I am buying first, and after 1 year, I go ahead and rent that out, move on to the next place. So I'm in the process, currently in the middle of going to my next place, and then once I move there, I'll rent out the unit that I'm in currently. And I can just keep repeating this process over and over. I do that because you get better financing terms as an owner-occupied resident, there you go. So yeah, so you can kind of explain the differences in financing on that side if you could.
So when you buy a property, if you're going to house hack, like he says, you can put down as little as 3% conventional, 3.5% on an FHA loan, or 0% if it's a USDA or a VA loan. The benefits of this is the rates are generally better than an investment, and the cash position that you have is a lot less, whereas an investment property is going to be 20% down, or in some cases 25% down. So obviously the burden on this is a lot more. So like Jackson said, it's advantageous to buy a house, put as little as you can down, live in it for a year as your primary residence, and then move on to the next place. Do the same thing over and over, and then rent out the previous.
Yep. And so like the big benefit to this, cash flow, right? This is Grant Cardone. This is not mine. I'm not trademarked or copyrighted on this stuff, but Cardone Capital if you want to look it up. But anyways, so when you get owner-occupied financing, even with a lower down payment, you still have that lower interest rate and the longer loan term. You typically have a lower monthly expense than you would if you bought it as an investment property because your interest rate's higher and your loan term is lower. So you get the best possible cash flow on that property when you're owner-occupied financing. Also at the same time, this is the greatest way to enter the investment side of things as well, because you really get to understand your property. So when somebody moves into it, you know exactly, how everything works in that property. You've already set up utilities, set up all that stuff. You know everything about it, the ins and outs. You already lived there for a year. So that's another big benefit too. There's a lot of people that go out there and, buy investment properties sight unseen. They just look at the numbers kind of thing. But to me, I think it's more beneficial to actually understand that property in particular. And